Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the No Balls Talk Ball podcast. On my couch, once again, it's Jason, it's Juan, and we're back with another...
It's Juan.
I'm right here. And we might be wearing the same clothes as our last video. That's just because we only like these outfits, not because we're filming on the same day, all right? And we only wear these clothes, all right?
It's pretty stinky in there right now.
So bad. We film every single episode in one take, one sitting. It stinks in here. You know what else stinks?
What's that?
The team that we're fixing today for you all. And that is Atletico Madrid. So what's going on with Atletico? Other than the stuff that we can see straight away, completely out of La Liga title. I mean, they're fourth and they're 5 points behind third place Sociedad when we're recording this. Not on the same day as the other one.
And then they're not even close to...
Not even close to wherever Barca is. And then they're also, out of European knockout stage for the first time ever under Simeone. This is the first time it's ever happened. Out of the Copa del Rey. Basically, no ambition to win anything.
No
and
trophies.
really fighting for that last fourth place spot. It's not like it's, fourth is Atletico. They got Betis in there. Athletic Club is there. Villarreal will be there. So... But, that's just on the basis. What are some of the bigger issues that you think need fixing for Atletico?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's kind of hard to diagnose because, it's not like they're a club in free fall. They're not. They're not like Sevilla. They're not. Struggling down the bottom of La Liga. But there are a couple of things that we can highlight, and I think it only really comes to the fore when you look at their title-winning season from a couple years ago. Yeah. So let me just get a couple of these stats. We all know that Atletico doesn't like to score goals. They're probably, in my opinion, one of the most boring teams to watch in Europe.
Yeah, they're not, especially because they don't win anymore. No. So, it's just not really fun.
Yeah, and so this season, they never score a lot, but they're averaging 1.4 goals per game, which is not a lot.
Low.
And then compare that to their title-winning season, their last one in, was it 21-22? 21-22 they won?
Yes. No, that was last season. So it was
2021,
right? No, 2021.
2021, yeah. They... last season they were averaging 1.71 goals per game.
Even last season's quite a big improvement.
Yeah, so, and then their title-winning season, they were scoring 1.76 goals per game. So it's, and then they've also got this difference in the goals that they've conceded. So it's a bit on both ends.
Yeah.
Where the title-winning season that they had, Oblak was insane.
Yeah.
And if you run through their players, they just had some players that had crazy performances. I think Marcus Llorente had ended the season with over 10 goals, over 10 assists as well.
Ridiculous.
Which is ridiculous.
And they had Luis Suarez basically on his last legs at an elite European club, absolutely banging it in for them as well. I remember the game that won them the title. I think he definitely scored. He might have scored twice even. And it's just it's hard to see where the improvement will be because it seems like the team hasn't changed at all, as expected, because of Simeone being there for so long. I mean, there's only, I think you can point at Liverpool, maybe at City, but I think Liverpool and Atletico are really good examples where the club has embodied completely the personality of their coach, you associate Simeone with what it is to be an Atletico Madrid fan or a player, right? And he's been there for so long, but like you said, the things that were once very successful, like the basically impenetrable defense, is really starting to fall.
Yeah, I mean, in their title-winning season, they only conceded 0.66 goals per game. And now that's jumped to 0.94.
Yeah, it's quite
so they really need, because they run on such fine margins because they score so few. They have to concede so few, otherwise it's just not going to work. So as soon as you get a 0.3 jump in goals conceded per game, it's very detrimental to their game. And they only win titles when they have these crazy seasons where they don't concede a lot of goals. So that's obviously a big problem. But I think part of the problems with Atletico I mean, obviously they won a title when João Felix has been there.
Yeah.
But I think the signing of João Felix was an attempt to bring them into sort of the stratosphere.
Like
of
revolutionize who we are as a club. Like we're not the underdog picky club that are signing players for 40.
We're not gonna sign Diego Costa. We're not gonna sign an aging Luis
David
Suarez.
Villa or all
we're
these
gonna
guys.
sign a young, exciting talent.
He sure is.
For a lot of money, and that's great and all. But if you look at their team, they brought in João Felix, who's this really technical, really great on the ball. But if you look at the rest of their team, they have no one else that fits that style of play.
It's weird because it's almost like Simeone was like, I have this fancy new toy. And it's like, yeah, but that's a square and we're all circles here. Like, he doesn't fit in the team. And also, it was so weird because João Felix, obviously, at Benfica, was mostly a secondary striker or a winger. Simeone doesn't play, well, he plays with a secondary striker, I guess. But then he doesn't really play with like that 10 or winger role that I actually in football is mostly dying out now. Like you don't see that many traditional number 10s like we did before. But it's just, I completely agree. It's almost as if like that sort of reshaping thing that they did, it just absolutely fell on their face.
Yeah. And I think as well, like you have this massive investment in João Felix. But if you look at the rest of their signings, they've made sort of these. If you make a big investment, you have to invest in other parts of the team as well. Yeah. And they have done that, but not to the same extent. It's been little 30 million here, 30 million there. And they haven't matched that same
ambition.
That they had with João Felix, which was really weird. I think the place where that shows the most in this team is the midfield for me.
It's very old.
It's very old, and if you look at the amount of games that they've played, there hasn't been a fixed sort of starting midfield all season. They're all sitting on like 9-10 games, and then you've got Koke on like who's played 7 full 90s. It's very sort of mix and match.
And also just like, some players that we associated those Atletico Madrid teams that, okay, maybe they're not winning La Liga every year, but they're definitely in the top 3 easy, which now we can't really guarantee that. And they're definitely making it to maybe the quarterfinals minimum of the Champions League, right? Like Saúl Ñíguez, what happened to that guy? Saúl was like...
He's still there.
He's still there. Yeah. He went on loan to Chelsea, was awful at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Came back, has barely played this year.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of those players who hasn't had almost any consistent game time. But I've got a couple of stats here. Of course I do. From their title-winning season, and pretty much it was Marcos Llorente and Koke had insane seasons that year. Marcos Llorente was contributing with goals, assists, and then Koke was the guy who was progressing the ball in the midfield. So in that title-winning season, transitioning from defense into attack, he racked up over 10,000 progressive passing yards.
Jesus.
Do you want to take a stab at how many he has at the halfway point of the season?
Well, he must be on like 500.
Well, I mean, that's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's say 1.2K.
He's on 2,100.
Okay.
But, if you times that by 2, he's got less
not
than
even half of what he had.
Of what he's had previously. And the problem, if you don't have anyone to progress the ball, their first, if you look at their progressive passing, their first 4 players, they're all defenders. And then you've got Axel Witsel, who plays as a deep lying.
Who's been almost been playing center back when they played 3 at the back at the beginning of the year. He was playing at the middle of that back 3.
So they're missing a serious amount of creativity in my eyes in that midfield.
And it's weird that Felix, I guess, in midfield, because Felix didn't that's where I thought Felix would shine, like his creativity, like maybe he doesn't need to hit 20 goals as long as he's creating 5 key chances a game, But it just didn't really work out. And now they just signed Memphis Depay. The fans are already hating him because they call after they lost to Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey. Everybody calling him fat, slow, completely out of shape. I actually didn't think he was that bad. But
in terms of his shape, in terms
of just how he played.
He did not.
I always felt like I feel like calling him lazy and slow is just not knowing the player Depay is, because he's never really been like a full 100% sprint kind of guy, So But let's move on. So we've talked about their issues. I think another big issue, which we touched on, Oblak, not as good as he used to be anymore.
No, I mean, it's very hard to match how he was in their title-winning season.
Yeah, the best keeper in the world,
yeah.
and it wasn't even close. So I think that, there's definitely things that need to be improved on. I think that the main part is improve the defense. Like that's
really,
that's what got you to these titles. Like,
I mean, I guess that's if you're committing to Simeone, I think that's what you have to do.
So that we also have to. There is that caveat that he might leave at the end of the summer, right?
And I think he should. That is my.
He probably should. I mean, 11 years as a manager in one place is a ridiculously long time.
Yeah, and not just for the manager, for the team themselves as well.
Yeah, because you keep buying and also, 11 years, that's all great. Build a team in we build a team in your personality, and we're like, El Cholo and Atletico, like we're all one. My man is making 50 million euros a year, and the second best paid manager is making 23. Like, he is so far up ahead of earnings compared to other managers. That I also understand why I would never leave. You're getting paid that much money.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave of my own reconnaissance. I would stay. Yeah.
But as I said, I think the defense needs to improve. Like, just because I think that, you can, and they are looking to do it. They're linked with Soyuncu. Apparently, Felipe is out the door to Forest.
Soyuncu's
he also fell off a cliff. Yeah. And I personally think they should go for Evan Ndika. He's French, 6 months left of his contract, quite young still, plays for Frankfurt, very good numbers. And if not, you could also rotate Kondogbia if you want in center back. But I don't know. It's just like, it's weird because the team just feels like it's almost themselves are putting themselves asleep, they're kind of going through a rut of like, shit, we don't really know how to play and we kind of know he's leaving. So let's just kind of sleepwalk. That's what it looks like, a team that's sleepwalking through the season.
Yeah, and speaking of walking, their dribbling stats are really quite eye-opening as well. They don't really have anyone. They've got a couple players. You got Carrasco, who can take on a player or two. Like he can dribble past some players. But I was really surprised actually by the lack of successful dribbles that João Felix had at Atletico, and that maybe points to a couple of other problems that they were having in terms of getting him space and
allowing him
getting him in the right areas. So he only managed 6 successful dribbles so far this season, and Carrasco has 17.
6
successful
what?
Dribbles. I'm pretty sure that's.
I believe you.
João Felix
that's
has
crazy.
Completed this season. Left for Chelsea with a grand total of 6 dribbles.
That's nothing.
And to put that in perspective, and then you got Carrasco at 17. You're like, oh, that's all right. You want to take a stab at how many Vinny Jr. has?
Vinny Jr. must be on 50 or something in this season.
34.
34.
And then Rodrigo has 21. So Real Madrid's backup right wing has more successful dribbles this season than Atletico's top. And it's shit ton more than their what? How do they pay for Felix? 100 mil?
120 mil. Yeah.
Then their 100 million signings. So. There's clearly something in terms of for me it's creativity, and I think because if you're playing in the opposing half, then the defensive issues are not that drastic. And it's not like you can look at 0.9 goals conceded per game and be like,
it's not bad.
No,
the only reason why I think the defense should improve, and the attack of course can, and now they signed Memphis, they'll probably go for somebody else. I mean, João Felix is coming back for sure because they signed him. They loaned him to Chelsea, but they signed him to a 6-year contract before he left, which would make no sense. I guess that means that Simeone is leaving, because with Simeone, Felix apparently they don't get along. For him to be loaned out the last 6 months potentially of Simeone's time there, and then sign a 5 or 6 year contract before, seems kind of weird. But
it's very strange. Yeah.
I just think that La Liga is so bad right now. It's at such a low level.
I mean,
when you compare it to any other league in the 5 big European leagues, it's easily the most boring league to watch. Like, easily. The mid-table is maybe some of the worst mid-table sides in all of Europe. Like, when you... I mean, in the top 5, of course. Like, I'm not comparing it to Groningen.
Now we're just slandering the whole of La Liga.
Yeah, because it's awful. Like, they've scored, like, just over 300 goals as a league, and the Premier League's in, like, 500 or something. Like, and also the league that's fourth, let's say, I don't necessarily know who it is, but let's say it's, like, Serie A. They're, like, almost 100 goals ahead of them, like, and the only one player this season had scored over 10 goals, and it was Lewandowski. Like, Morata with 6 goals, that's shit, but like that's pretty good for La Liga this year. La Liga is
could
so
win the
bad.
Golden Boot with 19 goals.
With 19 goals, and that's it. Like, and it's not like any, like Benzema, maybe he scores 15, and that's it. Like, it's such a down year that like you can't. I think that the talent they have. And it's just that they're so boring to watch, and I feel like that's what needs to be fixed. Because realistically, as a prediction, I think they'll make top 4. Like,
I think they will still make.
The quality of the squad is too much, and the experience too. They're guys that have been there, like won league titles, been to finals, whatever.
So I think that that just about wraps up everything that we. I mean, we haven't really made any. They have to sign this guy. They have to sign that guy. But I think we've diagnosed a lot of the problem areas with the team, or what we think the problem areas, and we do know it all. So they are the problem areas.
Exactly.
There's no if, buts, or maybe.
In terms of final prediction to end the show, if you had to bring in a new manager that's not Simeone, knowing who's out there right now in the market, who are you bringing? Pochettino, interesting. We're not going to discuss it. I'll go for Marcelinho.
Okay. Is it the bar?
He used to coach at Bilbao.
Oh, okay.
And then Valencia before that. Very good coach. But not explaining it.
All right. We'll leave you with that.
Yeah, and if you're an Atletico Madrid fan, maybe switch the channel and watch something else, because you're probably asleep at halftime. Enjoy the weekend of football, and peace.